Hey there, everyone. Happy Thursday. King 5 Meteorologist Adam Claibon. A beautiful sunny afternoon. Temperatures back up near those seasonal averages in the mid to upper 70s, and it's going to be a long stretch of similar type of weather. We'll have some cooler days, and we'll also have some warmer days too. We'll let you know exactly when those days are. And we've also had some drier conditions here recently, and so yeah, we have been in a higher risk of seeing fires, and those have flared up here across some parts. And I wanted to show you just a satellite imagery of how, even with the fires that we're seeing across the eastern side of the state, there's no big plumes of smoke that's really over there. It may seem like some of those are over that way, but generally what you're seeing right there across more of eastern Washington is just cloud coverage. More of the smoke is going to be up into more BC. So thankfully, again, not really dealing with much of that as of right now. So air quality for many of us, it's doing pretty good, and that's why you don't see much of that haze across the state when it comes to that smoke haze for the time being. But we do still have to deal with these drought conditions, and we just got a latest drought monitor released this morning, and just wanted to show you that because it does show a spreading of that abnormally dry soil across more of the Olympic Peninsula as well as the Kitsap Peninsula, and seeing that also across the islands with areas across northern central Washington now picking up on not only just severe drought, we also have this new category that has popped up for us here with that red up that way. That is where we have now extreme drought heading north there on Highway 97. So it continues to stay dry, and the abnormally dry soil that you see over that way across more of the Olympic Peninsula as well as parts of Puget Sound over here through King County as well, that extends eastward. Not technically droughts, but if conditions were to continue as they were, especially with the forecast expected to stay dry, it could eventually turn into drought. And it looks like that's really what we're going to be leaning towards, especially once we head on into the next few weeks, as we really don't have much in terms of rainfall coming our way at all. Now, the system that you see right there diving southward, that's indicated by some of the darker greens and those colors just off of the coast of BC. Well, that will try to move southward, but then start to retreat back off to the north, and that will give way to an even sunnier and warmer pattern. Now, the center of that ridge of high pressure is going to stay off to the east, but some of it does try to inch its way closer to us, farther to the west across the state of Washington. So do expect that to heat things up a bit Monday, Tuesday, and possibly even into next Wednesday. As far as the warming up that we did today, mid to upper 70s, even closing in on 80 degrees here, and this is as of early into your Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, so we could see some updated numbers from the National Weather Service. Could be a few 80s, but generally very comfortable. Again, mid to upper 70s are where we should normally be for this time of the year. So with that being the case, we cool back down and we actually see things back below average slightly as we head on into not only just Friday and Saturday, but possibly even into Sunday as well before we see a bit more of those 80s returning into the earlier part of next work week. Here's Paulsville. You can see the sunshine that's out that way. Beautiful to see that. And then these gorgeous blue skies behind some of these clouds here in Bellingham. A good afternoon and evening to you. With our Painfield camera also showing a bit more of the same, and looking from our Columbia Tower camera here in Seattle, off into the distance. Some clouds out there, but generally things looking nice and quiet and sunny as we sit in the mid-70s into your Thursday evening. As we go throughout the night, we're going to see our temperatures more in the mid to upper 70s. First part of the evening, it really dropped quickly, though, back down into the 60s within the first couple of hours of sunset, and then we're dropping well into the 50s for early tomorrow morning. Now, here's a look at radar, which shows little of anything at all. Satellite imagery, too, nothing across this side of the state. Now, as we head on into the weekend, we do see an increased chance of some fire potential over there. I told you about the increasing cloudiness for us here across parts of western Washington. Well, that's going to come along with a system that will eventually try to work its way eastward. That front will help to enhance some of the wind that's going to be across some of those parts. So that's why you can see, for that reason, a fire weather watch has been issued by the National Weather Service. What usually happens with these is that we have a fire weather watch that's issued, and eventually, too, if the National Weather Service, as we get closer to that event, they see fit, they will eventually turn that into a red flag warning, just, again, saying that, hey, the potential for wildfires and those spreading rapidly is going to be imminent. So you want to be extra careful with any sort of flame or any sort of fire that you may have across those areas. And a lot of times, too, it's just completely prohibited. So keep that in mind here as we get ready to head on into the weekend. That Saturday is looking to be the day that our chances of fire will be a bit higher. Now, as we look at futurecasts here, western Washington really has little of anything to worry about. We have the extra clouds that will come in as we head on into early tomorrow morning. That's at about 7 to 8 o'clock. the sprinkles with us here. That will continue to hang around as we head on into the start of the day on Friday. And then you can see as we go on into more of tomorrow night and into the day on Saturday, that chance still hangs around for us, but it's not going to be anything too widespread. And the better chances will be up near the Canadian borders, so Clallam County, the San Juans, up towards more of Whatcom County. Keep an eye out for that. By about 8 o'clock later on into Saturday evening, a lot of those clouds have already begun to break apart. We'll have a few more of them as we head on into early Sunday morning, but eventually those will get out of here rather quickly too. And so overall here, looking at the upcoming weekend, tomorrow 73, but then Saturday and Sunday for those weekend days, low to mid 70s for highs with those lows in the low 50s and mostly sunny skies, especially on Sunday, partly sunny as we head into the second half of the day on Saturday. And you can see here, as we continue to keep an eye out for any sort of potential rain chance, there's nothing that's going to be all that noteworthy at all. A lot of the moisture stays off to the north into BC. We'll head on into more of our Sunday. Start to notice some of those clouds coming in from the southeast. That will be part of some monsoonal moisture that will head across eastern Oregon and eventually more so into Idaho and over into Montana and over across parts of Utah, Nevada, maybe even over towards Wyoming. We don't see little or really anything of that here across this side of the state for sure. And as we continue on, it looks like into more of the latter part of next work week, we'll keep things relatively quiet as we don't really see a huge warm-up by any means ahead for us. Overnight lows are going to be pretty comfortable, low to mid-50s. That's near if not below average. And afternoon highs, well, there are going to be some warmer days for us. Average is at 76, so once we get into Monday and Tuesday and hit the 80s, that's technically above average. And then we take a drop heading into Wednesday, and then we bounce right back up on Thursday. Friday, another drop, and then up in the around the upper 70s. So you can see that the temperatures will be up and down, but there's no major or drastic sort of variations in any of these temperatures. So that will mean things remaining relatively tranquil and quiet and relatively comfortable too, even though it may be a few afternoon highs that will be just slightly above average. All right, your forecast as we head on into tonight, low to mid 50s for those overnight lows. Highs tomorrow on Friday, ending off the work week in the mid 70s. Farther south across parts of Puget Sound, low 70s across some of those parts too. And then outside of there, we're probably going to see more of the 60s, even possibly 50s in Port Angeles. 7-day forecast, things staying relatively cooler and a bit cloudier into your Friday and Saturday, with more of the sunshine to come into Sunday, and then seeing more of the 80s around with highs in the upper 70s too into a lot of next work week as this very typical and seasonal sort of summer-like pattern sets up for us here, thankfully, without any of the extreme heat. Okay, everyone, well, take care. Have a tremendous Thursday night, and we'll talk to you soon.